Unmute. Can you
There you
hear me?
Yep, you got it now.
Okay. Hector, alcoholic. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Glenn, my good friend Glenn. We go back many, 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 many years. My sobriety date is May 8, 1979. I have 43 and a half years of sobriety. My sponsor is Luther Woods. He has 50 years of sobriety. In what else I'm in Los Angeles, California. What I want to tell you is my experience, strength, and hope. It's not my stupidity, my weakness, and my fears, okay? And we're trudging the road of happy destiny. We're not trudging the road of disgusting misery. So hopefully, after I talk, you feel a little bit better, okay? Because it's not me talking, it's God talking to me, through me. I'm just a channel, okay? I'm going to tell you my story. I was born in Argentina. Okay. When I was little, very little, because we're very, very, very poor. We had no running water, dirt floors, and no bathroom, and both my parents were illiterate. So I really did not like my life. I did not like my parents, and certainly I did not like my house. For the first 18 years sobriety, I didn't allow any of the kids to come inside my house because I was so ashamed of how we lived. But I had seen American magazine with your pictures. And I said, oh, wow, when I grow up, I'm going to go there. They have running water. They have toilets, they have bathrooms, they have kitchens, and everything is in Technicolor. Wow, wow. And since I was 8 years old, I began collecting magazines because I knew I was coming here. Life at home was very difficult. Both my parents were very violent. But I didn't know I was an abused child until I came to AA. Here, they give you all kinds of problems, And I was sponsoring a kid, they said, well, my mother used to chain me to a sewing machine, Oh, my God, you were an abused child. No, I don't think so. Anyway, my father was very, very violent. He would get angry, would grab a knife or a gun, and we all run to the street because he's going to kill us. So my first dream as a child in Argentina was not to be president of Argentina, a movie star, or a doctor. My first dream as a child was to kill my parents. Okay? So don't worry, this is going to be a good pitch. And I'm going to share solutions. I got myself I saved myself by, becoming an athlete. So I would come home, drop the books, and go to the gym and practice basketball or judo, swimming. And I would take a shower there because remember, we had no bathroom, just an outhouse with smelly urine on the floor. So that's how I really, really got to know life through the kids in my basketball team. And my first dream as a kid also was to be the first white glove trotter. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a basketball star. Anyway, but I could not jump too high and I was too short. So anyway, eventually I was 18 years old and I began my trips to the American Embassy or consulate in Buenos Aires. Each trip was 6 hours over, 6 hours back. And I did 4 of them to get my visa to come to America. By the way, I came here legally, okay? So don't get any funny ideas. If you don't like my pitch, you can send me back, okay? I've been an American citizen now for 50 years, and I just don't like or love the United States of America. I adore the United States of America. How do I know? Because I have visited 21 countries. And guess what? Instead of all the shit that's going on here, it still is the best place in the entire world. That's how I feel. And I came to America, and I landed in Miami, right? And I got out of the airplane, and everybody was talking Spanish. Mira, chico, ven para aquí. ¿Qué pasó? Oh, my God, we were hijacked to Cuba. The airport was full of Miami immigrants. And what I did is, this is my first experience in America. I had a 2-hour layover to go to New York. So I had to go see the land of my dreams. So I went to the parking lot and As I walked towards the door, they opened up by themselves. I never seen something like that. And I walked into the parking lot. That was something like a miracle. I never seen so many American cars. You see, in 1961, to have an American car in Argentina, you had to be a millionaire, you know. And I walked around touching all the cars. And I said, I came to the right place. In this country, everybody's a millionaire. You know what I mean? And I was so happy. And I landed in New York. And New York is the tallest city in the world. And I come from a little village in Argentina, you know, and all the tallest buildings, you know, it was so mesmerizing. And because I'm a worker, you know, the beginning was very difficult because I spoke English, but it was British English because my teacher, you know, taught me, hello, Hector. Really? No, no, not at all. Oh, you sound awful, Hector. You sound American. That's right, bitch. I do sound America. You know, I want to sound America. I want to look America, and I want to walk like an American person. And I worked really, really hard, you know, for a year and a half in designing and a graphic designer in advertising. I saved enough money to go to Europe. And I went to Europe for 4 months. I lived on $10 a day, okay? So it was not a big deal. And I visited 9 countries. And I saw all the great art in the world, the Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo, Picasso, the David, the Pietà, and, you know, and really it changed my mind that this little kid, you know, saw really in person what man could do. Somebody said, you know, most painters compete with each other, but Picasso, and they go, Michelangelo competed with God because he was creating his own world. When you see the Sistine Chapel, it was like magnificent. When I came back, they told me I had to socialize, you know, in America. And I never been to a bar. So like a moron, I'm very anal. You know, I want to do things correctly. I'm going to go to a bar. You see, they'll have to rehearse how to order a drink. You see, I didn't know how to order a drink. I never been. So like a moron, I stood in front of the mirror. Excuse me, please. Could I have a drink, please? Hello, whiskey, please. For half an hour, like an idiot. So next day, I walked into this bar in Manhattan, very sophisticated bar. You know, all the guys were in impeccable suits, crew cut. Nobody has a crew cut in Argentina. The lady very well dressed. When I saw all these guys, there were the crew cuts and the dark suits, I thought they were a bunch of Mormons. You know, because in Argentina, the only Americans I knew were the Mormon missionaries. They used to come to a little town to try to change us from unhappy little Catholics to unhappy little Mormons. You know what I mean? And they all looked the same. They were very nice, very kind people. So the bartender came over and says, blah, 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 blah. I don't know English, so whiskey, please. And he kept insisting, blah, 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 whiskey, please. He was asking me what kind of whiskey on the rack. So I don't know caca. So I kept saying, whiskey, please. He got pissed. And he got a little glass, a shot glass. I've never seen a shot glass. And he poured this piss-like substance inside the little glass and put it in front of me. Why does he give me such a little glass? I looked around, all the Mormons had tall glasses. Oh, maybe it's because I'm short. You know, I did not know. You see, and I picked the little glass and I swallowed the whole thing in one take. Oh my God, it was awful. It came out of my ears, my eyes, my nose. Oh, I almost died. And this Mormon that was standing next to me says, ¿Por qué no prueba Cuba Libre in Spanish? Ah, why don't you try Cuba Libre? Sí, 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 Cuba Libre, por favor, Cuba Libre, rum and Coke. And I loved it because I'm addicted to sugar. That's why I go to the other program, okay? So from then on, I drank everything with Coca-Cola, you know, Scotch and Coke, vodka and Coke, sangria and Coke. Okay, don't go, oh, wait until you try it. You don't know, okay? So anyway, I loved any drink that had an umbrella on it. And not so much because I really liked drinking, it's because when I drank, I was tall, I was good looking, I spoke perfect English, You see, I drank because I did not like anything about myself. But when I drank, I was okay. I remember that Leonardo da Vinci said, the perfectly proportioned man is 7 times the size of his head. So I measure my head. This is extra large. According to that, I'm supposed to be 7 feet 2 inches tall. Oh my God, I'm one of those midgets in the Macy's parade. You know what I mean? So anyway, I became an alcoholic really, really, really fast. And I began drinking, every day. And I had achieved my American dream. I had a nice apartment with a beautiful view of Manhattan. I had a bathroom, for Christ's sake. I had a real bathroom and a kitchenette, but I was not happy. And I did not understand why. You told me why when I came to AA. You told me I was looking for a material solution to a spiritual problem. And you told me nothing that I see with my eyes can fix my inside. Not the relationship, not the car, not the apartment, not the money in the bank. Those are wonderful things and they give me physical comfort. But the solution is on page 45 of this book. He says, lack of power. That was our dilemma. Well, that's exactly what this book is about. Its main object is to help you find a power greater than yourself that will solve your problem. I did not know that. And mind you, it doesn't say your alcoholic problem, any problem. God is the solution to all my problems. And I kept drinking. I had my first suicidal attempt. I don't know, don't ask me why. Maybe the doorman did say good morning to me, and I'm going to teach me a lesson. I'll kill myself. Okay, and I had another suicidal attempt. And then one day I woke up sleeping on the floor. I urinated on myself and I found the solution. I realized what my problem was. My problem is New York. I had to move to a more loving, caring, nurturing place. So I moved to Hollywood. Okay. So anyway, before I moved to Hollywood, I thought, being an actor was going to really, really cure me. And I became an actor. And I did a play, and that play went to Broadway, and we won all the awards, including the Tony, which is the Oscar in the theater. And I still did not like myself for my life. That's when I came to Hollywood. And I came to Hollywood, and I had an afro, a big mustache down to here, and I look all, I always wanted to be a wasp, look like maybe like Glenn, you know what I mean? Look like a wasp. But no matter how I dressed, I always looked like a Mexican yuppie, you know what I mean? With a mustache and anyway, and I'm a Latino guy, and I began guest starring in all the movies, and I'm always killing people, pimping women, smuggling dope, I've been handcuffed on TV more times than the Menendez brothers, you know what I mean? Always bad guy, almost bad guy. And so finally, they give me a good part. I'm going to be a good guy, and I'm going to save the girl, okay? The girl was Catherine Ross. Remember the girl from The Graduate? Very pretty girl. Okay, I'm not going to have sex with the girl, but I'm going to save the girl. Okay, it's progress, not perfection. Okay, so I had to save her. So they gave me the part, and then the director called me home. I said, "Oh, Hector, we forgot to ask you. Do you know how to ride a horse?" Do I know? I was born in Argentina. I was born on top of a horse. I lied. So we got to Tucson, Arizona to do the movie. So we're going to rehearse. And they put me on top of a stupid animal. I don't like horses. I don't give a shit if you love horses. I do not like horses. So they put me on top of the animal, that's the horse. And if you ride properly, you do like tick, 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 tick. Nice. When I did it was like, oh my God, the director had a heart attack. Hector, you lied to us. This man and the horse are like a unit. Why did you do that? So he would let me get off the horse. He made me practice for 4 hours on top of the stupid horse. when I was finished after the, I couldn't get off the horse. So they got me off the horse. I couldn't even get my legs together. I couldn't hardly walk, you know. So I come back the next day on the set, and I said, "Sir, I got drunk. I went to my hotel and got drunk." I said, "Sir, I cannot do the scene. You know, my ass is a huge blister. I cannot ride the horse." He said, "Hector, we don't give a crap what happens with your ass. You had to do it. See behind you, there's 200 extras. We cannot hire them tomorrow." So what they did, they put up wet towels, you know, on the saddle, and they sat me on top of it. I'm playing this heavy-duty bandido, you know, with guns, bullets across my chest, sitting on wet towels. You know, it was very, very depressing. So now they give me the gun. This is a prop gun that shoot your. He said, "Hector, don't shoot the gun until you're galloping, okay? Okay, and shoot only in the air, and because those blanks, they can really not hurt you." Remember the guy who killed himself playing Russian roulette with a gun? That was an actor. So shoot only in the air after you're galloping. So the rank is holding the reins here. When they say action, the six, we take off. I'm an alcoholic. So I cocked the gun, right? Because at least I'm going to get one shot. And the horse goes, boom. Oh my God, I shot the wrangler in the ass. Oh, he was so upset. So we had to redo the scene. Now, I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not stupid. I cocked the gun again, right? And I put it next to my leg. And the horse goes, boom. Oh my God, I shot my leg. My costume was in flames. I couldn't care less. I had to save Catherine Ross. So I started galloping, right? By the end of the take, it was like a torch on top of the horse. You know, they threw me on the floor, blankets, you know, and I had a hole about this big on my right ankle. Now, I see it on my right leg. And so they rushed me to the hospital. They rushed me to LA. And I had to be in the hospital like for a week, and I had 2 operations because the big thing got really infected. So 2 operations, one to remove the infection, one for skin graft. While I was in the hospital, my agent did not send me flowers. And I'm very sensitive. You don't send me flowers, I'll teach you a lesson, I'll kill myself. And that was my last suicide attempt. I asked my friend Francine, to bring me my pills. I was not into pills. Oh, something went. Can you see me? What happened? Oh, okay. He went off here, right? He went off. Okay. Anyway, she brought me the pills. I took 40 pills. That was my last suicide attempt. And I was in coma for 3 days. I died twice, and they revived me twice. That's my bottom. Okay? And I had everything. I had the most beautiful wardrobe you ever seen. I had enough money to live a whole year without working. I was living in a gorgeous apartment. The only thing was missing was Hector. I did not have Hector. I did not know who Hector was. I thought I was a piece of garbage. Because, hey, my parents are illiterate. I grew up really in the garbage. So why am I worth anything? But you told me, no, Hector, when I came here. And I didn't believe I was an alcoholic when I came here, okay? So no, Hector, you're a child of God. The affable qualities that you have are God's quality. And when my shrink told me, he sent me here 43.5 years ago, he says, how can I be an alcoholic, Mike? I'm in a 3-piece suit. I have a Mercedes-Benz. How can I be? He said, Hector, you have 4 suicide attempts. Go to a meeting. I went to a meeting. It was dark and seedy. Oh, caca. I don't belong here. He's going to forget. He didn't. And I went to another. He said, go ahead. There are 1,700 meetings in LA. Now it's 3,500. So I went to this other meeting on Los Feliz, very shishi neighborhood. Large meeting, somebody's playing the piano, everybody's well dressed. Oh, this looks like a musical comedy. Maybe I belong here, okay? And that was 43 and a half years ago. And I didn't come here because I thought you were an alcoholic. I kept coming back because it was very, very isolated. And the book says, almost without exception, alcoholics are tortured by loneliness. The Surgeon General said a few years ago, the number one killer disease in America is not alcoholism, pills, cocaine, crack, or whatever. No, the number one killer in America is isolation. And it's worst with all the people. And I did not know that. When I came here, you hugged me, you kissed me, you put your arms around me, and introduced me to Hector. We call saying the spiritual way of life is not a theory. You know, we have to live it. And what is the spiritual life that we talk? It's the journey from the Hector that I created, which I think is a piece of garbage, who lacks everything, who will never be anything, to the Hector that God created based on love, who's whole and complete, and inside of him has everything he ever needs. And that's the purpose of the 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, to get in touch with that splendor, with the beauty, with the kindness that is inside of us. What does he say? Somebody said, the gift is already given. Be gracious enough to receive it. Okay? And when I came here, I had problems with God. I come from a Catholic background, and my God was a punishing God. I knew I was going to hell. And then I had to find something. And I read Jerry Goldsmith, and he said, whatever your concept of God is, no matter how high it is wrong. Because it's still a concept. Eventually you have to lose all concepts and reach the consciousness that God is. Then leave the subject alone, because with the mind, you're never going to understand who God is. How can I understand a spiritual entity that takes care of 7.5 billion people at the same time? And by the way, the big book says the same thing, page 46. Although it was impossible for any of us to fully define or comprehend that power which we call God. What do theologians and great religious authorities, including the Pope, what do they call God? The mystery of God, or the mystery of all mysteries. And you taught me here that God is not supposed to be understood or be described. God is to be experienced. Experienced. And I would say all of you had one moment like that. Everybody sitting here and this being had one of those moments. It's not the burning bush. It's not the white lightning that our beloved leader Bill Wilson had. No. It's a moment, a second, 10 seconds of complete peace, of complete nothingness. When you hold your baby, it was a baby, and for the first time he said, Daddy, Daddy, or Mommy, Mom, and you melted. If you have a puppy, when he comes and sits on your feet and tells you, okay, dummy, it's time for a walk, and you melt, that's a spiritual experience. When you see something like Yosemite, when I went to speak there and I saw El Capitan, I sat there, and I couldn't move. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I was there like for an hour, just looking. When I saw the Sistine Chapel in Italy, the same thing. The same thing. Okay? So I started walking the steps. You know, I had a great difficulty with it. Okay? But I knew I was, an alcoholic. I knew I was an alcoholic. And when I walked I also wrote a book, A Spiritual Recovery, which is Bible had to work the steps or take somebody through the steps using the 12 steps in the big book. And what I do is, it takes me 15 weeks, about 3 months, to take somebody through the books. And I give them, homework, readings, study, and things they have to do. And I take them, I'm going to take you on a spiritual journey that you're not coming back. Because you already know the truth, you cannot come back. You know. So the first step says that my life is unmanageable, okay? And isn't that a gentle step? We admit it with, powerless of alcohol. Doesn't say we admit it with disgusting, despicable, falling down drunks, cheating and doing all kinds of, no, we admit it with powerless alcohol. And the second step tells us lack of power. That was our dilemma. And I talked to you already about God, right? God is how you feel. It's something you feel. Sometimes I call it the gentle, divine energy. That's what I call it, divine energy. Because I cannot really describe it. Somebody named Karen Armstrong wrote a book, The History of God, How Man Created God. She's such an expert that she did a 6-hour, 1 hour per episode in London about God. She wrote the book, How Man Created, The History of God, How Man Created God. And she said, man is the only animal in God's kingdom who can think and reason. Why this little guy, or a man or woman, created God? And she says, to give life value and meaning. Value and meaning. And he said, that's man's probably best idea ever. And the big book agrees with that. Okay? This is what the big book says. Our ideas did not work, but the God idea did. And he says it twice. So I had to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. What is my will? My will. What is my will? My will is my thoughts. As a man thinketh, so it is. And the big book says the main object of the alcoholic centered in his mind rather than his body. Thoughts are things. Whatever is in your mind will manifest in your life. What you're wearing, what you're sitting on, the building you're in was first an idea in somebody's mind that was taken to its final fruition. What is my life? My life is the sum total of my actions. And a man or a woman is not judged by how he dresses, what he drives, or how much money he or she has in the bank. A man or a woman is judged by his or her actions. Emerson, the great American philosopher, said it best. Your actions speak so loud, I cannot hear what you're saying. And the book agrees with that. It says action, action, and more action. Okay? So, what does it mean to turn it over? To turn my will over to God. Is to put God first. Okay? What does God want me to do in this situation? And if you don't know, I have a solution for myself. Whatever action I'm supposed to take, do it with a lot of love. That's God's will for me. If I really do an action based on selfishness and self-centeredness, that's not God's will. Remember, love is a fulfillment of the law. You cannot go any higher than love. Okay, so now I'm blocked from the sunshine of the Spirit. What is my blockage? It's my character defects, my wrong, my sins, my mistakes. They all mean exactly the same. I have failed to live under spiritual law. So I had to do an inventory. And remember, it's an inventory. It is not a novel. War and Peace was already written, okay? Just a novel. Just, what do you call it? I forgot. Okay. Inventory is just an inventory, you see? I'm getting senile. Anyway, so we do 4 and 5. And by the way, when you do 5, I always tell the people, be very, very careful, very loving, because it's a sacred moment. This man or a woman is telling you, this is all the garbage I've done in my life. Be very gentle, very loving, okay? And remember, he or she talks for 80%, you may talk for 20%. It's his moment, her moment. Very, very sacred moment. Then I go home for an hour and I look what I've done. Did I forget anything? If I did not do that, I didn't forget anything, then I do 7 on my knees in what my sponsor is possible. Okay? I surrender my life, to this divine entity that I don't understand, but I believe. Oh, yes, somebody said about God. For those who don't believe in God, no explanation will ever be sufficient. For those who believe in God, no explanation is necessary. So now we go 8 and 9, and we make a list of all the people who you harm because we had to clean the channel. Why do I say the channel? Because that's all I am. The channel through which God can shine. The word channel is used in the St. Francis prayer. God, make me a channel of thy peace. First quality, that where there is hate, I may bring love. Where there is darkness, I may bring light, and so on. But the first spiritual quality is being clean inside. So God can reach me. Okay, so 8 and 9. And before you make any amends, talk to your sponsor how you're going to do it. Because I've seen some major mistakes, okay? So there's 8 and 9, 10. 10 is basically the same thing. It's a spiritual tool to keep the channel open on a daily basis. That's all. And then comes prayer and meditation. Prayer and meditation. My friend Harvey says, prayers when you talk to God, when you hear the voice of God talking back to you, is called schizophrenia. But he's British. He has a weird sense of humor, okay? So prayers when we talk to God, right? And then we go into the silence. And the book says, pray only for God's will. We don't pray for things, for God's will, God's help, God's direction, okay? And then we go into the silence. And I said, why silence? And then I learned the silence is the language of God. He can reach us best when we are very quiet. That's why somebody wrote thousands of years ago, be still and know that I am God. He did not write in your BMW, listening to music, play with your cell phone and eating a sandwich and know that I am God. No, be still and know that I am God. And don't tell anybody you have to start with half an hour in the morning, half an hour at night. No. Start with 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Sit quiet and wait. Learn to do nothing, Hector. Sit there. Read maybe a page of the big book and then go into the meditation. And then comes step 12. My favorite, service to others. They said in the program, in order to keep it, you have to give it away. Khalil Gibran, the poet who wrote Khalil Gibran who wrote the poet, I think, what's the name of the, he wrote a book. He said, the only thing we take with ourselves when we die is what we had given away. He said, and the most important thing we can give away is the gift of ourselves. And he's right. I can buy a new suit, a new dress, a new watch, a new car. But I can always buy a new dress, a new suit, a new car. But when I spend 2 hours working with you on the steps, I'm giving you 2 hours of my life. I cannot get it back. So that's the greatest gift we can do. And we cannot really keep it unless we do that. And how Bill Wilson learned that, he came to law and says, I'm working with so many alcoholics and nobody's staying sober. And she said, I know one person who came sober. I said, who? You. That's what he found out. Okay? Service is the kindest thing you can do. And remember, if you're kind, you're beautiful. Remember that. Okay, so I still do service in AA. I take people through the book. I had 3 commitments in person. I go to in-person meetings, okay? I call my sponsor once a week. He's out of town, and I keep doing this. A daily reprieve contingent of my spiritual condition. What I do today is good for today. Tomorrow I have to do it again. That's how I did 43 and a half years of sobriety. Okay, I have 10 more minutes. Good, perfect. I have to, I hated my parents. They said, recently number one killer, it doesn't exempt parents. So my mother told me once in a while she did something's wrong, and my father beat her up and she beat us up. You know something? She was not perfect. Neither was I. I hurt a lot of people when I was drinking. And when I went to do my amends, I didn't want them to really kill me or get upset. I wanted them to forgive them. And yes, I sent my mother a ticket. She had never been on a plane. And she came to my apartment in LA. And she had a Christmas tree, 12 feet tall, decorated in her favorite colors, pink and red. Okay, and I told my mom how much I loved her, and I thanked her for sending me to school, to send me to art school. Okay, to do it all. She made me do 12 years of education. My father wanted me to be a delivery boy. She said, "No, my son studies." That's how I became a graphic designer and an actor. Okay. And I had 33 presents underneath the Christmas tree. We overdo things in AA, okay? And they were wrapped in her favorite colors, pink and red. And I thanked her. And I never, ever, ever mentioned what she did right. We don't do that. We take care only of this side of the street. And I also sent a check to my mom for 20 years to help her because she still was poor. So when she passed away, my heart was at peace. I had made amends. And I didn't forgive my parents for them. I forgive them for me. And if I keep seeking my parents' approval, I shall remain forever a child. But my father was a little more difficult. I really detested him. And my shrink says, "Okay, Hector, if you hate your father, you have to forgive him. That's what they say in the AA. Oh, F you." I said, "I'm not doing this." So, "You don't know your dad. He had moved to Syria, where he came from, and remarried. You had to go to Syria and get to know your father." "Are you crazy? Syria is full of Syrians. They all look like my father. I don't want to go there." "Oh, boy. Okay. Oy vey. Okay, don't do it." So finally, I called my father on the phone. He didn't have a phone. I had to go to a hotel to receive my call. He was crying on the phone. He said, "Daddy, I'll be there in a month." And I landed in Damascus. And this giant that used to beat me up, that I was so afraid of, was about 5'2" tall, about this here. It was an old man, bald-headed man with white hair, and funny baggy pants, walking towards me like a little duck. You know what I mean? He embraces me and starts kissing me all over and starts sobbing. And I start sobbing. And I don't know why. I don't know this guy. Why am I sobbing? People watching us are sobbing. Then he takes me by the hand and takes me to his village. A very, very poor village. His house is the only one with a toilet and a bathroom. And he told me his story. His parents were teenagers. They never went to school. He never went to school. And he left Syria, went to Argentina and married my crazy mother. How was he not going to be a good, caring father? But he loved me. He just loved me. I just did not love him. He made me dress in a suit. I don't know why I took a suit to Syria. Put steak on the table, which is very expensive, and invited all the villagers from the village to look at my son from America. And he is an actor. And about 20 people walked in like a scene from The Godfather and shook my hand. You know what I mean? And they're talking in Arabic, but everybody was, "Oh." And then a blind beggar, a smelly blind beggar without shoes, walked into the room. And my father guided his hand to touch my face because he too, he wanted that this person also has to know my son. Okay? So he really loved me. He didn't know how to be a good father. He didn't have the tools. He did the best he could with the tools he had. When I was leaving at the airport, I was sobbing because I'm never going to see my father again. And he was sobbing. And I said, Daddy, I love you very much. And thank you for being my dad. And he would say, no, 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 son. Thank you so much for coming to my village. This is the most beautiful present anybody could have given me. Now I can die in peace. And we hugged, and I left. And I came to my country, the United States of America. Something subtle had changed. I did not hate him. I kind of smiled when I thought about him. And I learned something who a real man is, or real woman. It's not what you drive. It's not how you dress. Not how rich you are. A real man is somebody who is at peace with himself or herself. That means if I'm at peace with myself, I'm connected to the indwelling power of God. The God and I are one. The Father and I are one. And until I make that connection, nothing is going to be good. Remember the new pair of glasses that Chuck C. wrote? I had to have a new pair of glasses, God's glasses. They're pink in the cover of the book, to see the world in a different manner. See, I don't see them as they are. I see them as we are. You see, as within, as without. The world is always a reflection of who I am inside. And I'm not here to change the world in AA. I'm here to learn how to function in the world we have. Okay? And this is my last message to you. Keep working the steps. Keep coming back. We'll support you. We love you. We care for you. If you really keep working the steps, eventually you're going to meet the most wonderful person in the world. Yourself. You see, you're God's masterpiece. He created you in his image and likeness. He didn't create the ant, the monkey, or the elephant. No, no, no. He created you. You are his masterpiece. And remember, the gift is already given. It's inside of you. Work the steps. Get connected with that. Okay? And that's my message. God bless you, and I love you.